Well, welcome. This is Introduction to PubMed Searching. All right, so here's a quick overview of the things I'm going to cover today. First, I'm going to give an introduction to what is PubMed, all the things that are included in it. I'm going to talk about two different ways to access PubMed. There are different ways depending on what you want to do with PubMed. I'm going to give a tour of a sample record so you see all the information that you can get out of what they include in their records. And then we'll get to searching, and I will introduce both the basic and the advanced search features. And then I'm going to talk about managing your results in PubMed and the need to create a My NCBI account. So we'll get to that. And then a quick note about creating alerts, which are useful if you've done a search and then you want to keep up to date with future articles on that topic. And then links to additional tutorials that are provided through PubMed for more advanced training. All right, so first, what is PubMed? So PubMed is the National Library of Medicine's free searchable database of biomedical literature. It does contain the Medline database. That's its biggest component. So it covers journal articles in medicine, nursing, dentistry, and all the biomedical fields. It's really the premier biomedical database with over 37 million citations, and it dates all the way back to 1946. So this is usually the first place where you will want to start for looking for biomedical literature. A few things of what it does not contain. It does not contain full text articles, but links are available to free articles, including open access. And then our links have links to our subscriptions. So if you're in PubMed and you're logged in through our institution, you will see on the website what you have access to through our subscriptions. It also does not include websites, patents, dissertations, or conference proceedings. There are different platforms and databases that are available that do include those, but that is not going to be PubMed. All right, so let's talk about the content of PubMed. It really is comprised of three sources, and I like this graphic because it just always reminds me that PubMed is not one thing, it's actually three things. So the first thing is it is Medline, and this makes up the majority of PubMed. And this is the premier database of the National Library of Medicine. These records are indexed with their medical subject headings, and only the Medline articles are indexed with these headings. So these are essentially tags that the NLM adds to each Medline article that indicates the topics and subjects of the article. And I will show you what those look like when we go to the record. So Medline is made up of over 5,000 journals that go through a rigorous selection process that is continually reviewed. So if something is a Medline article, it's been vetted as a high quality biomedical journal. The second main component is PubMed Central. And this is like the full text repository of the National Library of Medicine. So this will have many full text articles that are available, including author submitted manuscripts. So when a researcher gets funding from the NIH or other government funders, one of the requirements is that they have to post and share the results after they're done, because essentially the thinking is the taxpayers paid for this funding, the taxpayers should be able to access the results. So even if it's not in a Medline article, then it needs to be shared with the public. So these are included in here. Now these will not have the mesh headings. That's just not a thing. They only add those to the Medline journals. I will also say that there's a pilot program that they're doing that includes preprints of NIH-funded research. So this is, again, it's a pilot program. These are articles that are not yet peer-reviewed. They have undergone no peer reviewing at all. Essentially, it's the rough draft. And I advise caution with these types of publications. There is a way in the filters to filter them out, and I will show them to you. And I will say that when I encounter them, they are very well marked. You're not going to accidentally not see it. It's well marked. However, just proceed with caution because these are not vetted or reviewed in any way. And then finally, the third component is bookshelf. So this is an archive of books and documents related to life sciences and healthcare that the National Library of Medicine has and shares. So I usually don't see those. Mostly we're going to see Medline and PMC articles. All right, so now we're going to talk about accessing PubMed. There's two different routes. One using our library links, which is usually our recommended method, but sometimes you'll want to just go directly to pubmed.gov. All right, so it depends what you want to do. If you just want to jump in, do a quick search, get some articles, and connect with our library subscriptions, then I recommend using the links on the library webpage. And this link here will take you through that route. You will be connected with our subscription, so you will see all of your full text options using this method. However, if you want to do a little bit more with PubMed, maybe you want to save your search to come back to in the future, you want to email your results, you want to tag things and set them aside in their collections feature, then you're going to have to access directly through pubmed.gov and you won't see our library links. You would need a free My NCBI account to access all these additional features like saving your search, and I will talk more about that later. One little plug for the browser extension libkey Nomad that will kind of bring you together with best of both worlds. If you have libkey Nomad installed as a browser extension on your browser, then you will be connected kind of through a back door to all of our collection. So you can go through the PubMed and do your My NCBI account and also see our full text links. I'll show that to you when we do the live demo. But you can still just jump in, get your articles, see our subscriptions. And this is just a PubMed thing. It's all institutions have this problem with the proxy access giving access to our collection. We've just learned to live with it. They don't seem to be interested in changing it. Okay, so now let's do a tour of a PubMed record. So one record represents one journal article. So I've made a list of some of the key things that each article has. So let's jump and go do a quick tour. All right, and you can see my page. Perfect. All right. So I am connected through our library resources. I can tell that by looking at the URL that I do see the our proxy information here on the URL. And also I have libkey Nomad installed on this browser. So I am getting additional links. So it's telling me, I'm logged in through LSU Health and I can have one-click download PDF access right here. Even if I wasn't connected through our URL, I would still see these libkey Nomad links on PubMed. So if I can show you, we can move this, just to show you what that looks like. On your browser extensions, there's one called libkey Nomad, and that's what I have installed. I should put a link on that too in the slides, but I don't think I did. Anyway, it's a nice tool. Look for it. It's on our library webpage, and Becky did a talk about it. All right, so here's a PubMed record. So the first thing we have here is the citation, the name of the journal, its citation information, the article title, authors and their affiliations, the abstract, the DOI, and the keywords here. Now, these are not the mesh headings. These are the author supplied keywords. When they're available with the article, they are posted here. A couple things. I'm going to talk about these features later because those are related to the My NCBI account. You do have a few display options. You can include the abstract or not, or different views. But generally, this is the default. Here are my full text links. I have the full text. This happens to be a full text article that would be available to all readers. This is my library link. And this shows me all of my full text options. So this is generally the one we recommend clicking on. You will have additional access options through here. I can download the PDF, I can go to the publisher website, but I'll be connected through my subscription. So if you see this is generally the recommended link. I can get the citation information for this article. So I can just click on that. I can copy it if I want to paste it somewhere. I can download it if I want to download it into like EndNote or RefWorks or any citation manager. And it does offer me a variety of, there's 4 different popular options that it'll present it to, that it would present it in for my use. Okay. Now down here, we'll keep going down over here. This is the similar articles feature. So based on PubMed's algorithm of my keywords, my search, and the topics of this article, they think if I'm interested in this article, that these would also be of interest. It's kind of similar to when you're on Amazon and shopping, and they say, oh, if you like this, you might like these 27 other things. And, sometimes you are interested and sometimes you're not. So that is what that is from. It's based on your search terms and the topics of this article generate these suggestions. Then it also has the cited by articles. So this is sort of the forward citation linking of this article. So this article was published back in 2020. And since then, PubMed is showing me that 2 articles have cited it. So once again, if I'm interested in this article, I might be interested in things that have cited it since it's been published. So this is a really nice feature. There are other platforms that offer this. I know Web of Science does this, Google Scholar. So this is PubMed's version. They put it in this part of their record. It gives me the full bibliography. So this is the bibliography from this article. So it has 39 references. There's no links. It's just a listing, but it does give me the bibliography. And then finally, the information, it tells me what kind of publication it is. This is a review article. If it was a clinical trial, it would tell me that. It has a few other tags. And then these are the mesh terms. So like I said, these are added by Medline for their articles. So these are the topics. It's, human influenza, both the epidemiology and the transmission, seasons, whatever the article is about, and it's tagged with humans. So these are those mesh terms. These are also searchable. I'm not going to get into all the details of mesh searching in my introduction to PubMed class. It's a little bit more advanced, but essentially you can find this term in the mesh database and dig a little deeper into it. I can just do a search in PubMed on this tag and get all articles that are tagged with it. It does allow a little additional searching. But mostly the main thing to know is that these are the subjects that have been identified of this, and it makes our searching more powerful. I will show you how we use it in the advanced search. Okay, so that is a PubMed record. The other thing I want to point out real quick is that there's this advanced feature that brings us to the advanced search. I want to show that to you because we're going to use that on a future slide. Okay, so back to our talk. Okay, so now we're going to get into actually building a search. So I'm going to show you both basic searching and how to use the advanced search. All right. So the basic search box, if you've ever been to PubMed, this is what you see on the front page. And it's very basic, very plain. You simply enter your search terms. You don't need to worry about using words like and or any other Boolean operators. It assumes that you are combining your terms and want all of them included in your search results. When you do it this way, it will search the title, the abstract, author names, the author keywords, the journal names, mesh headings, many, many fields of the PubMed record. It's a very broad search. It does not search the full text of the article, so it's not doing that. I have to say the PubMed searches a lot more than just the words that you enter. The algorithm is very advanced, and it does a lot of things behind the scene that are generally useful, generally a good thing. It will look for spelling variations. So if it's orthopedics or pediatrics, there's British and American spellings. It will automatically look for both, so you don't have to worry about that. It will also look for common misspellings, whatever those might be as identified by the database. And it also maps to medical subject headings. And this is where a lot of people get confused about, I put in a term, but I'm seeing things that don't have my search term in it. It's because in the background, the mesh term has mapped it to somewhere else and you're seeing additional things. We'll talk more about that in advanced search. All right, so I think I'm going to do my demo search right now. Yeah, we're going to do that now. So let me go back to PubMed. Okay, so we'll go back to the beginning and we're going to type in a search. And so my search today is going to be peanut allergy, children, and I'm interested in treatments. So that's all I have to do. I'll even go ahead and put treatment. So peanut allergy in children treatments. I'm not using ands, ors, anything, and I'm just going to hit search. All right. So, oh, I have a filter on. So, because I was doing this yesterday, so we're going to get rid of that. Peanut, okay. So it's asking me if I want something else, but I don't. So here it gives me 1,353 results. So let me give you a quick tour of your options when you get to your initial results page. Again, these I'm going to save for later when we talk about the more advanced the NCBI account. But over here, you have some options for sorting. Generally, the default should be best match, which is its algorithm for the most relevant. Other options are you can go by publication date. Most recent means when it was added to PubMed, first author name, and the journal name. Your display options, the default is 10 per page. You can increase that up to 200. Different format options if you want to see the full summary or the full abstract. I just generally have it on summary, or you could just hide the abstract altogether. All right, over here are the fun filters. So this is where you can quickly make some adjustments to the amount of search results that you see. So the first, and they've recently changed these probably in the last 6 months. They've made them better. I think they're more user-friendly than they used to be. So the first thing is this, I like this feature. It kind of gives you a graphical view, oops, of when articles were published on this topic. So, and you can just slide and say, okay, looks like things started to get interesting in 2011. And you can just, make your search narrowed to that. There are quick links here. If you just want to say last 10 years, just give me that. You can do that. The text availability, I generally discourage using this feature in PubMed. They're not helpful, and they're probably going to eliminate articles that you would otherwise be able to see. For abstract, it's only going to include articles with an abstract. I mean that you're going to miss things that maybe don't have an abstract but could still be useful. The free full text especially are the one that you want to avoid, because this will only show you PMC articles or open access. It will not take into account our institutional subscriptions. So you definitely don't want to do that. And anything with full text, again, just don't touch any of these. Let either LibKey Nomad or let our institutional proxy determine what you have access to the full text. So just skip this whole thing. I also don't use this one unless you're looking for data specifically. Now, the article types are a little more helpful. I do use these frequently. If I'm only looking for systematic reviews, I will click on that. Or meta-analysis, and I'm only looking for randomized controlled trials, this is a useful feature. There are many other article filter types that you can also use. Very extensive list. There's also other filters. You can narrow by language. And again, many more options are available. They've just given us English and Spanish on the front page. You can tag species of humans or other animals. If you recall, when we looked at our sample record, it was tagged with humans. So here's where you can specify that tag. You can do gender, you can do age. Again, many age filters are available. However, one word of caution with using this set of filters, I don't think it applies to the language, but it does apply to these, is that by using these tags, you will only see Medline articles because they are the only articles that have these tags. If I choose humans, it's going to be looking for that tag, which are only in Medline articles. It's not going to get anything from PMC. It's not going to get any of the author manuscripts that were submitted. You're going to eliminate all those, which is fine. Just be aware of what you're eliminating by using these filters. This down here is helpful. This is where you can exclude the preprints. So if you just don't want to see them, click here. And this is where you can also just say, I only want to look at Medline articles. You can eliminate everything else. So a lot of fun filters, generally a lot more useful since they revamped it. And I have to say, I do like it. They are sticky though. So these, like if you put a filter in, it's going to cling to it until you're like, even when you come back to it and do a different search, they're still there, but you can clear them right there. Okay, so now I want to do, I kind of want to show you what the advanced feature will show you. It gives us a little more information about what we searched. So you click on advanced here, which brings us to the advanced search builder page. But before we do an advanced search, I am going to show a little bit more about what it actually searched for me. So you go down here to our history and you can click on this little arrow for details. And it opens up this whole other window about what it actually searched. And this is very useful to see if you're not seeing relevant articles, you can maybe kind of figure out why, like what is it actually searching, gives us a little hint. So it kind of gives me a translation. It says, okay, you typed in peanut allergy. The mesh term is actually peanut hypersensitivity. Well, great, because I didn't know that. So thank you, PubMed, for figuring that out for me. But then it says we will also search your terms as keywords. So when it says all fields, that means it's that wide open search. Title, abstract, author keywords, journal names, all the fields. When it says mesh terms here, that means any article that was tagged with a mesh term of peanut hypersensitivity is going to be included. But it searched both peanut hypersensitivity, which is the mesh term, and what I typed, which is allergy with peanut. Similarly for children, it says, well, okay, well, child's the mesh term. Okay, great. And it also, you'll see it search other forms, children, children's, child, child's, did a lot more things than what I typed in. And then same for therapeutics, or I put in treatments, it typed in therapeutics. It searched both in multiple forms as a keyword. So really a lot going on behind the scenes. This is great. It's very powerful. However, sometimes it's not 100% of what you were wanting. So if your search seems to go off the rails, this is where to look to see what did it actually do? Did it not map to the correct term? And then you might have to adjust your search. So in my slide here about this, I have some details here, and I have links and all my screenshots that kind of describe this again. But I do this. So that feature is called their automatic term mapping, where it does all that behind the scenes. But a note here that you can turn this off essentially if you either use a truncation symbol, which would mean maybe I put in the word child with an asterisk, and it's going to search for all terms that have child as the root word and anything else afterwards. So it might be like childhood, childbearing. It could be a lot of different things, but it won't use the automatic term mapping anymore. Similarly, if I use quotations, it will not automatically map. So if it's not working for you, use one of those options, quotes or a truncation, and it won't run wild like that. It will literally only search what you typed in. Okay, I think we're ready for advanced search now. Okay, so let's go back to PubMed and let me show you how to do an advanced search. And the other thing I want to show is how to combine sets, because personally, I don't find PubMed the easiest to work with in terms of combining your search set. So if I have another topic and I want to combine them, to me, it's not obvious on this page how to do that. So first thing I'm going to do is add in another topic. So maybe I want to look for immunotherapy. That's the specific treatment I'm looking for. So when I type it in here, it just kind of moves it to this query box. This is where it's building my search. For now, I'm just going to search it separately. And it gives me a bunch of articles that have immunotherapy. Again, I can go to the advanced, I can look and see what it did. It said, okay, we searched the mesh term immunotherapy and then other versions of immunotherapy as a keyword. Great. But now I want to combine these two sets. So the way I want to do that is you have to click on these mysterious three dots that are not indicated that that's what you're going to be doing, but click on them and you have options. So one is I can add query, which means it'll move this search up into my query box, which I'm going to do. This is also the place I would delete it, or directly from here, I can do the create alert if I have a MyDanCBI account. Okay, so let's add it to my box. Great, now it's up here. I didn't have to retype it. And now if I want to add in my immunotherapy, I go to actions, and now I have additional options. I can combine it with and, or not. So I'm going to use and because I want my articles to include both of these topics. I want it to narrow. If I used or, that is more for when you have synonyms. So these are Boolean operators. So or means more. It means synonyms. Like if I wanted immunotherapy or something else, I would put it with or. And not, I generally discourage using because you might accidentally remove an article that in passing mentions the word immunotherapy, that if you use not, you're going to eliminate it, and that's very dangerous. So don't want to do that. So we're going to just use and then right here I can do my search. And now I'm down to 640 results in PubMed using these two topics. So that is kind of how to use their advanced search window. Okay, so back to my slides as we finish up. Back to my slides. Again, I have all this on my slides, so you can go back and refer to it later. And now I want to talk about managing results and the My NCBI account. Okay, so when you want to save searches, email results, or set up alerts, you're going to need to use this kind of account. It is also used with some other NCBI products, and it's also used with the NIH awards management system. So you might already have one of these accounts. Essentially what they've done is they now require a third party to authenticate credentials. But it doesn't work with a library proxy. It's all institutions. It's not just us. So you have to go to PubMed. I'm not going to walk through the process here, but I'm providing a link for how you want to do it. Also, you may have noticed when we were in PubMed, there's that login button at the top right screen. You can click on that. It'll bring you to this middle display I have here where you can select a third-party option. So we generally recommend either using Google, ORCID, or login.gov, or you might have an existing NIH or NCBI account. What I've done is I've gone to Google and I have entered in my LSU HSE email, connected it as a Google account. So now when I want to do this, and if I'm on a different computer, it's going to like call me, it's going to verify or send me a code. So it's connected to Google. Once I do that one time on my device, though, on my office computer, it automatically remembers me and it re-authenticates, and I don't have to go through all the steps again. It just automatically connects. The most important thing to remember is that you have to use the same email address when you're setting up your MyNCBI with whatever your third-party account is. So whatever you're using, probably your institutional email, it just has to match. Okay, so that's how you do that. When you have that created, here are some of the fun things you can do and how to do them. So I'm on the results page. I can save my citations to file. It'll give me like a text file. I can email them. This is usually what I do. I like their email because it contains a link that will show all your citations. You can go back essentially to PubMed and review them in the results page. So that's what I use most frequently. You can also send it to the clipboard, which just kind of sets them aside while you're scrolling through all your results. The My Bibliography, which you might have an account with that if you track your own references, or you can send it to a citation manager like RefWorks or EndNote to download into those products. The other fun thing you can do is create alerts. So you can, when you turn that on, you can either do daily, weekly, or monthly. And one tip, what I do sometimes, if I really just kind of want to save my search, is I'll choose the create alert, but there's an option to not turn on the emails, and then essentially just saves my search and I can come back to it at a future date, but I won't receive all the emails. So again, you need the NCBI account to do that. And then just finally, some links for additional training about PubMed. They offer extensive resources on their website. A lot of quick videos, 1 or 2 minute video, or actually 2 to 3 minute videos, searching different ways, more information about the advanced search feature, mesh heading, mesh database searching at many different levels if you really want to learn more. And then they have a user guide. It's kind of FAQ format, so it's kind of friendly. You can also just search for terms and find what you're looking for. It's updated very frequently, and they have a YouTube channel with a lot of their videos. So plenty more resources to get more in depth with PubMed. So that's it for my presentation. My contact information is here. We do have a short survey in the slides to get feedback about today's presentation. I've also included a QR code if you're not receiving our library emails. This is a link to sign up for them. We send about once a week. You will let you know about future classes. We do some resource spotlights, just a way to keep up with what's going on in the library. And we have an Instagram post as well, or account that you can follow. One more thing, and I'll go back to the slide, is we do have a couple more classes in March. We have one next week about Cabbles, an information session. This is a new product we have this year. It's good for journal metrics and identifying predatory journals. So if you have, if you're looking for a journal to put your submit your article to, this is a great resource that we're offering, and we're excited to have it. And you can learn more about it next week. And then in 2 weeks, our Julie Schiavo, our dental librarian, is going to be presenting some ideas to make your in-person classes more interactive. She's got some great fun ideas to engage more with your students. So that's a great one for instructors. All the classes are offered via Zoom and in person. And that's back to our links. All right, that's all I have. Are there any questions or comments in the chat? Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming. I hope you learned something, and you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm happy to help, and we'll see you next time.